Hey guys, this is Brian Jones from Valhalla Academy in Frankfort, Kentucky, and I'm here with Rodney Vanzant, Captain of the Sheriff's Department, Laurel County, Kentucky, and we're going to have a little conversation about the role of jiu-jitsu and defensive tactics in law enforcement. I appreciate you being out here, Rodney.
I appreciate you.
I've been down to do a little work in defensive tactics with your patrol officers and the special response unit, and can you want to speak to the role that stand-up grappling plays in apprehension of a suspect and on different aspects of law enforcement?
Sure. Particularly speaking to our special response unit, we make entries on search warrants, arrest warrants, and thankfully more times than not we end up laying hands on a suspect as opposed to using lethal force. So we're all the time either trying to put somebody on the ground or restrain them in some form or fashion, and all that plays right in with BJJ and mixed martial arts too.
So it's a nice idea or a nice option to have a non-lethal force that's not necessarily a taser or something, because you're in super close quarters.
Sure, it's a must-have. And you go inside of a room and there may be one person, or there may be a room full in there, and there's not always room for a taser or a beanbag round, or you go to pepper spray in there or some other type of OC or something like that, and it gets everybody. So if you want to pick out who you want to disable, of course it's going to be in real nice and tight.
Okay, so and I made the argument that jiu-jitsu with a gi is especially important. I mean, you utilize the clothes a lot when you put people on the ground.
Things happen really quick, and whatever you can get a hold of, if you've ever tried to get a hold of somebody that's in a pair of shorts, like a ball shorts and no shirt, they're hard to hold on to. So if they've got a jacket or sweatshirt or whatever you can get a hold of at that point in time, is what you go with.
Outstanding. So there's been, and you don't have to name any specific instances, but you've used grappling techniques and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takedowns and pins and things like that on numerous occasions.
Throughout my career, before, and I'm no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, but before it was cool, every fight I've ever been in ends up on the ground, whether it's because I wanted it to go there, because we fall, or maybe I get taken down or something. It ends up there whether I want it to or not, generally.
Right. You see, there's a couple of exchanges of punches, and guys collide, and they form this thing, and then it gets on the ground. And
right.
And especially with you guys, you're not trying to literally beat the guy into a pulp. You're trying to effect an arrest.
Exactly.
So you're trying to control them and get them into a cuffing position.
Right. It's not a boxing match, and I'm not about to see how hard I can hit this guy. It's not about that. It's about how quickly I can safely disable him without injuring myself or him to the extent that he has to have medical attention.
Right. So would you say that that the grappling side of things lends itself better in terms of effectiveness, but also in terms of legal defensibility than just literally beating somebody into into submission?
Sure. Different times in litigation, post arrest, defense attorneys will want to know what options you had. They want to know why you done what you done, but then they also want to know what options you had at the time, what was available to you, and why you did or did not use those.
Okay, so
tools in a tool bag.
Exactly, exactly. So there's times to strike, there's times to grapple, but the jiu-jitsu, hopefully, and this is talking to Rodney and also talking to a lot of other officers. It seems it's easier to get somebody on the ground sometimes and control them so that your friends can get there too. So if you've got another responding officer, they can come help you. You get them halfway down, and then you guys pin the guy down and
exactly.
and then make your arrest.
Exactly. I think that probably training for that type of situation is overlooked in law enforcement a lot of times, and I'm speaking from personal experience. We, you send a new recruit through basic academy, and then they come out, and then we're required in Kentucky to have 40 hours of in-service every year on a particular topic. But now that may be investigations, for instance, or defensive driving or something like that. It doesn't necessarily pertain to officer safety every time. So it's really left to the department to bring in someone like yourself from a reputable establishment and do some type of in-house training in order to get those guys up to speed and try to stay on par with what's going on, just in society.
Well, outstanding. Well, let's wrap this up. I appreciate you coming out and doing this interview.
Sure.
Again, this is Brian Jones, Captain Rodney Vanzant from the Laurel County Sheriff's Department. Valhalla Academy. Train hard, train smart, train often. I'll see you next time.